I started truck driving back in '96. And I remember when we used to drop off the Grapevine out in California going north, headed towards San Francisco. When you'd get to the bottom, for miles, I'm talking 50, 60, maybe 100 fucking miles, man. I mean, it's been a while since I've been out there, so you gotta kind of work with me here. But for miles, it was nothing but fucking, like, it was apple trees, oranges, basically, you know, all these trees, apple, you know, like I said, apples, oranges, and whatever else, you know, that were along the side of the freeway. Because, you know, when you're on the, what is that, 101, coming out of Castaic Junction, and then you drop off of Grapevine, and man, as soon as you get to the bottom of Grapevine, it's flat. It's just like flat for hours. And you'd look over and you'd see all these, you know, trees on the side. And like I said, that was back in like 96, 98. So I quit driving over the road for a little bit, but then I went back out there somewhere around 2008, 2010. And just to back things up just a hair, you know, around 2000, I had heard about Agenda 21. You know, if you don't know what Agenda 21 is, you probably need to go look it up. You need to learn what Agenda 21 is. You got plenty of, you got tons of time. Most of y'all, I'm sure that, you know, you listen to podcasts and shit while you're driving down the road in your truck, so, you know, you got hours to learn what it is that's going on, really, truly. And, you know, there's a lot of YouTubers out there that are trying to tell you the truth. But so you need to probably go look up Agenda 21 and learn what Agenda 21 is. But I'm not going to get into that. You'll understand when you go study Agenda 21. But in 2010, 2009, somewhere around there, when I went back out to California after hearing about Agenda 21 and questioning whether or not it was going to be true or not, I remember getting down at the bottom and all those trees for miles, you grow tired going down through there. I mean, it's straight, flat, and everything. Dude, it's crazy. I'm sure you understand what I'm talking about if you've been to California. But all those trees were dried up and dead. And I remember thinking to myself, it was almost heartbreaking to look at all these trees out there that, you know, had all these fruits and stuff on them. They were all dead. And I'm thinking, what the fuck? Right? You know, what happened? And, you know, I remember asking, you know, some drivers out there, and they said that, you know, because of the environmental laws and stuff and regulations and you know, you know, they was having droughts. So, you know, nobody ever said Agenda 21, but that was the first thing that popped in my head was Agenda 21. So, you know, to fast forward to now, if you've noticed, it is 2021. 2021, and there's a reason why. You know, everything that they was talking about in this agenda for Agenda 21, the World Economic Forum and all these people, it's pretty much, it's coming to light. It's coming to light. You can see it in the making, in the workings. So when you're talking about, food shortages and shit like that, and, how, people are assuming that it's the truck drivers that are causing the problem. And even if you want to look at it as is causing the problem, well, I'm not saying that it's not real. I'm saying that, problem reaction solution. When you have truck drivers that are not going into these ports and they're telling you it's because of the maybe it's something else. And even if that's the case, you got to look at the point. The trucks weren't doing shit. The trucks weren't doing shit was what comes out of the ports. Everybody had forgot that, there's trains coming in and out of there, and you know what? There may be 1,000 trucks a day, maybe, but there's millions of containers coming out of there a day through the rail system. So, with that being said, I'll leave you this video right here.
This is the first time that we've ever run a train of that size. We've graduated from an 8,000-foot train to a 10,000-foot train, and now a 12,000-foot train. So basically what we're doing is we're increasing productivity per train start, meaning on locomotives and crews across the United States. We can move more cargo from Pier T at a single time than any other terminal in the Long Beach, Los Angeles area. So it's a tremendous achievement.
Putting together trains this large is not something that is normally done. On traditional trains, which are typically 8,000 to 10,000 feet in length, locomotive engines are placed only on the head and back end of the assembled train. But moving over 12,000 tons of cargo requires a bit more.
California ports, and then travel across the country via rail, eventually ending up in the shopping bags of millions of Americans. In 1990, the amount of trade flowing through the ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach has more than tripled. And by 2030, is expected to nearly triple again, bringing many new jobs to Southern California. In 2002, the Alameda Corridor opened, creating a 20-mile rail express lane linking the ports to rail lines. The Alameda Corridor not only expedites the flow of cargo in and out of the ports, but improves air quality, safety, and the flow of vehicle traffic in the surrounding communities. But this subterranean corridor can handle many more trains than the nearly 40 that travel it each day. One way to move more containers via the Alameda Corridor is on-dock rail loading, or putting containers directly onto rail cars inside a... This is the Southern California International Gateway, a first-of-its-kind, environmentally green, near-dock intermodal facility. With direct access to the Alameda Corridor, this near-dock facility will load containers on rail just a few miles from the docks, eliminating millions of truck miles each year. Trains from this facility will eventually move 1.5 million more containers through the Alameda Corridor than is possible with on-dock loadings. The Southern California International Gateway will greatly improve an existing industrial trucking and redistribution site into a gateway for green growth. Gateway for green growth. BNSF is committed to setting a new standard for environmental stewardship by building the greenest intermodal facility in North America. Specially designed wide-span rail-mounted electric cranes will produce zero emissions on site. By design, these cranes generate less noise and significantly reduce the number of yard tractors needed. They also generate electricity that will be returned to the grid. Special directional lighting on the cranes will also reduce the amount of light coming from this facility at night. BNSF plans to use low-emission yard equipment to move containers within the facility and low-emission locomotives to build trains. BNSF also uses Smart Start technology to automatically shut down idling switch and road engines to reduce fuel use, noise, and air emissions. Because this will be an intermodal facility, there will be minimal switching. Intermodal trains are built on fixed sets of well cars and typically don't need switching, minimizing noise from train movement. The Southern California International Gateway will be located just a few miles from the ports between Sepulveda Boulevard and Pacific Coast Highway. Only trucks that meet the port's Clean Truck Program requirements will be allowed to move containers from the ports to this facility. BNSF will require trucks to stay on specified non-residential routes. GPS, or global positioning systems, will track truck movement, ensuring drivers use only the approved routes. Any trucks that do not use the approved routes could be prohibited from serving the facility. A 2,500-foot-long truck entrance and exit road along the west side of the facility will ensure trucks won't queue on public streets or block traffic on Pacific Coast Highway. Additionally, the facility will bring hundreds of new, well-paying local jobs to the community, with priority hiring given to qualified local applicants. Potential facility employees will have access to a workforce training program, increasing opportunities for growth and promotion. California, the Golden State, land of golden opportunities. By reducing emissions and creating well-paying local jobs in the community, the Southern California International Gateway will support the kind of green economic growth our economy needs now. This gateway for green growth is our investment in a better future for you and for generations to come.
So it's like I try to tell everybody in my videos. If you go look back at the riots, that was not grassroots. That was all planned. And the whole idea is to get people against the police departments. Now, you might wonder, well, why? Well, you had Black Lives Matter. That wasn't a grassroots movement. They went out there and they rioted and they protests and they wanted to defund the police. So then you had the Patriots that were at the Capitol protesting, and now the Patriots are against the police. They don't need the police anymore because they got cameras, facial recognition, and AI cameras. Some of y'all got them in your trucks. They're watching you right now. It's called LIDX camera systems. But between all the cameras that they got going on, facial recognition, wearing masks to make sure that it all goes down okay and that everything's working well. We have Biden, if you spend more than $600 out of your bank account, he wants the IRS to be able to look into your bank account and see what you're doing. If you make everything automated, they're not going to need you anymore. You remember when Obama wanted the equal payer program? So where we are headed, they're going to try to muddy up as much as possible in the logistics department alone, just so that they could figure out ways of getting rid of them dirty ass truck drivers and them dirty ass trucks. Put everything on a rail systems. If you're not working local, then they don't need you. And chances are, well, you know, if the rail system's running the shit, then all you have to do is have automated trucks to pick it up at the rail yards and deliver it where it needs to go. Instead of having automated trucks running coast to coast, you just have them in small towns in designated GPS areas. I know that shit sounds crazy, but you know, you had Agenda 21, and that's all about going green. You got Agenda 2030 that's coming up. You know, it's 2021, folks. And they meant what they said. Whenever they say something and when they want to do it, it's going to happen. Now, they might try to muddy it up to get the problem reaction solution going, but it doesn't make no difference. They're going to get what they want. So, you know, just think about that. Think about, You know, nobody is paying attention to the fact that there's still rail yards. And those rail yards, if they shut them fuckers down and no freight is moving, but there's still trucks trying to pull that shit out of there, all they have to do is say, hey, you know, we can't find no drivers because they're all homesick with the... And we got to come up with a solution for this problem, right? Because the stores are drying out. We can't be having that. We're going to have to get the trucks off the road. We're going to have to go all automated rail systems. So that way, if man gets sick again, we don't shut down the whole country, you know, and keep our people from being fed.